There are two types of ethics programs: compliance and value-based, which is also known as integrity-based. Ethicists sometimes refer to these forms as the carrot and stick. Compliance-based ethics is a stick used to enforce ethics into the organization. Value-based ethics is a carrot that refers to how organizations pursue ethical practice willingly. A compliance-based code of ethics is developed to ensure that the business and its employees comply with all laws and regulations in an appropriate manner. Three key elements include the prevention, detection, and punishment of non-compliant behavior. For example, a telephone-based marketing company may have compliant-based codes prohibiting employees from making misrepresentations of facts. Telephone sales are recorded to ensure that the sales force complies with the code, and salespeople are punished if they fail to do so. Compliance-based culture emphasizes obedience to the rules as the primary responsibility of ethics. The rules of compliance-based culture has to be strong and precise so that workers are expected to comply. The compliance-based system uses legal terms, training, rules of conduct, and penalties for non-compliance. Compliance-based culture takes a legalistic approach to ethics. It uses rules and policies to ensure that ethical and professional compliance are fulfilled. Codes of conduct are established with compliance as the focus, with rules and policies enforced by management. Compliance-based ethical codes do have their critics. Compliance-based ethics do not foster independent thought and autonomy. They don't empower employees to be ethical. Rather, it uses fear of punishment to enforce the code. It also lacks long-term focus on values and integrity. Perhaps there is no better example of compliance-based ethics than the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002, often simply called SOX or SARBOX, is the United States law meant to protect investors from fraudulent accounting activities by corporations. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act was enacted after several major accounting scandals in the early 2000s that enriched executives and defrauded stakeholders, perpetrated by companies such as Enron and WorldCom. The Sarbanes-Oxley is mandatory, and all public companies must comply with it, as well as the accounting firms that audit them. The rules of the Securities and Exchange Commission in the Philippines references this as well. SOX outlines specific rules for corporations, including separating the roles of the board chairman and chief executive officer. The reason for this is to avoid conflict of interest, requiring CEOs to certify financial statements, defining prison terms and fines for falsified statements, requiring ethics codes to be registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission. In a value-based ethical system, companies will set values to which employees aspire, such as honesty and respect to customers. The value-based system relies upon self-policing and motivation, rather than coercion. It recognizes that a firm must rely on the personal integrity of employees when decisions need to be made. A value-based code of ethics still contains rules prohibiting illegal behavior, but focuses on proper actions or effects that should be achieved rather than behavior to be avoided. The company attempts to encourage good ethical behavior rather than focusing on monitoring and punishing errors. This requires a certain level of trust and employee autonomy. For example, employees may be rewarded for finding green and sustainable solutions in manufacturing. So value-based culture does not mean the absence of rules or written codes of conduct. Upper management as well as the board of directors must still formulate specific value statements for its strategic business units. These values should be visible artifacts, such as a code of ethics that provides a standard of discipline. That ends today's lesson. Kindly visit our Google Classroom to access the activity. If you have any questions, just type them in the comment box. Thank you and have a nice day.